The battle lines have already been set. And we are on page Kuf Nun Vav. Well, don't worry. Kuf Nun Vav. And on the line that begins with what Aveza B'Kulam B'Shov, which is 6 lines from the beginning, from the top. And the Rebbe says, that we have pointed out, really something that really boggles the mind, that the Emunah is a sense, a cognizance that a Yid has, that all Yidden have it equally, independent of their status, independent of how pure or simple they are. Emunah is an inherent presence in the neshama of the Yid, rooted in godliness itself, and thus it is equal everywhere. And this is what the Rebbe says, again, the line, Havezi B'Kulam B'Shov. This is where the Rebbe points out that the Emunah is higher than the effect of sight. Because in sight there are differences, and in Emunah there is no differences. And I'm saying inside a few words. Lepi she'nimshav, because it is drawn, it is sourced from a higher madrega than sight. When I was reviewing this, when I came to this word, I will kind of stop for a moment, because as I'm reading, I would expect it to say, yet the Rebbe does not say mokim gobeya, from a higher place. He says madrega aliyah, from a higher madrega. When you say madrega, a high madrega, you are saying the very same place. Except within this place itself, there are different madregas. All the madregas represents the presence of the Lakus, godly presence. As we mentioned recently many times, and behooves us to reflect on this. Bereshis bara Elokim is a Shamayim v'Zohar. What is the very beginning of being? It is bara Elokim, it is a divine creation. The beginning and the statement of everything that exists is presenting the divine reality. As I said many times over these few days, there is no such thing as existence but for the divine. The divine is the only source of existence, of presence. Not only a source of justification. But as we said again over in these days, that in fact, when we're looking at anything that exists, the physical entity, the presence of the physical entity is a miracle equal to the presence of the intellect. Presence and existence is a divine phenomenon. It is not a worldly phenomenon. And thus, this is what the Rebbe is saying. Emunah is equal by all. We will now get into this. Emunah is equal by all because Emunah is not something that we realize, we observe. Emunah is that which is given to us and which raises us to its own source. Emunah is what gives us a place in the divine reality. And it's from there that we begin our conscious development. The reason that the world beckons us, the reason that we want to develop the world and be successful and so forth, is that the world gives us a presence in the divine reality. It's not the world that beckons us. It is the divine reality that beckons us. Except we, because of our limits, relate to divine reality via the institutions, the presentations of the world representation. But what we are being presented with is a divine reality. This is the first myth that needs to be cleared out. Myth means imaginary reality. It's a myth that the world is in existence. It's an imaginary existence. And we imagine it because it accommodates us. We have from the world everything that we personally require. And therefore we relate to the world as the basis of existence. That is a perfect myth. And we have to wean ourselves from that perception and come to recognize the divine truth. Once we begin to recognize the divine truth, we dismiss worldly reality completely. And we seek to experience, we seek to relate to a divine quality. This phenomenon that we have this this draw, this interest to relate to divine reality, this is true in every Jewish neshama. The Kulam B'Shabbat. To put it in perspective, this sense is not an intellectual sense. As a matter of fact, we ourselves do not fully understand what it is that we want. Sore throat also.
Give you a cup of tea?
Well, if you would, I would.
Sure.
Yeah. No. Use my cup. We ourselves are not in full clarity as to what it is that we are looking for. Because it comes to us not via our seichel, doesn't come through the process of chokhmah. This is a completely different orientation. Madrega Gubei is a different madrega. The madrega that we orient ourselves is something of existence or presence. This is beyond existence and presence. As we've been saying in the last couple of days, it appears to us that our primary reality is the present, is the worldly presence. And we are seeking to establish ourselves solidly in the worldly arena, world accommodation. That is a totally false perception. This is not what our neshama is looking for. And thus this is not what we are looking for deep down in our own inside. We are looking to connect and relate and being absorbed within a divine truth, not in a worldly truth. That is, in fact, the desire, what we seek all the time, what the neshama seeks all the time. And we as a result also seek that. So when it says over here, it comes from a higher material, higher than Madrega that is higher than the created being. The Madrega that is really part of the creator's stance rather than the created. Now, at this point, it is necessary for us to reflect for a moment. It's a challenge which we must take. We say that the world was created by a creator. And once the world was created, we see the world as a reality because it was created. So the world assumes now a real presence. After all, it was created. This is not the correct view. This is not how our neshama relates to it. Our neshama, after the world is created, still is looking out to the creator's presence. The Creator's presence is what makes the world acceptable to the Neshama. This is what makes sense that there should be a world. Despite what it was created, as it was created, it is still buttressed and still maintained by the Creator's presence. Not for the Creator, the world, the created has no reality. Thank you, that's beautiful. The muscle that we have for this, which is a correct muscle on a muscle level, that when you are a guest in someone's home and you're being presented with all you need, your comfort and your meals and so forth, what makes all of these things real to you is the fact that you have a host that's presenting it to you, who's presenting it to you. The food and all the comforts have no basic reality to the human being. What's real to him is the fact that he is a guest in the host's home. That gives him a sense of orientation, of reality. This sense of reality is rooted in his relationship to the host rather than to that which the host is presenting him with. The feast. This is what he's saying over here. Emunah enables us to see a big word. And then we can understand it with our seichel and chokhmah and bina and das. Yet, what is the real enticement? What it gives us a sense of real being is not that which all translate in the seichel afterwards. It is rather that which makes us recognize its truth, the presence of the source itself. Not how it translates in our seichel, but how it is in the source itself. This is what gives us a sense of reality. This presence of the source is true and equal by all, even by everyone. Because that is the source. It's not how it translates in the knowledge of the recipient. It is the source itself. And there it is, b'kulam b'shor. It gives everyone the same right of being. Because his right of being comes as a gift from Milo rather than what he earns for himself. This is what the Rebbe says. I said before, this word madrego aliyeni yesir, I'm alluding to the Indian. It's all the same truth. It's all the same divine truth. The thing, the divine truth itself, there's a high madrego. What is the higher madriga? In the divine truth itself, there's a madriga. The madriga, the truth, the divine truth itself, is contained within itself, identifies itself, and how it is identified, it allows itself to be identified outside. This is madriga lineage.
Madriga?
Every deed
Madriga El Yaina Yeser, he said, a very much higher Madriga.
right?
Somebody asked a question.
Oh, every yid has a direct presence in the divine, in the divine reality. Every yid. So when you talk about the divine reality itself, we are all equal. And that is where Emunah comes from. I want to explain, we translate the word Emunah, belief. We translate it as belief. Believing means I believe inside myself. I believe something that is outside myself, but inside myself, I believe. That's how we translate the word Emunah. The truth is, when you say Emunah Pshuta is not a conscious Emunah. Emunah Pshuta means the Emunah that is implanted from the source of the Emunah, from the divine truth. That's why it's Pshuta. It is not something that goes through the intellectual process, or the conscious process, or the experiential process. Pshuta means it is the way it is in its very source. This is what the Rebbe said. It's higher than Mazle Chosi. Because the minute you say Mazle Chosi, Chosi means you see something. Seeing something is not the same as being that. Emunah is the divine reality as it is present in the neshama itself. Not as it is recognized in the neshama, or understood, or experienced, but as it is present. So the moshel that we present for this, just for our own orientation, is a parent and a child. It's interesting to analyze that relation, that comparison. A parent and a child. Now we all know that a parent cares for the child more than the child cares for the parent. That's an amazing thing. The child, the whole presence of the child is due to the parent. the parent begets a child. The parent is a separate entity. The child has no presence but for the father, for the parent. And yet, the child has a lesser relationship to the parent than the parent to the child. How is that possible? How does that work out? The phenomenon of this is the child is the product of the parent.
I'm sorry, the video went off.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay,
Back.
the child is a product of the parent. And here is where we have to understand. The child is a product of the parent. It is not the parent. The parent sees in the child himself, his own koiches, his own presence. On what basis does a child exist as far as the parent? The parent, because it comes from me. In other words, his basis of existence of the parent is seeing himself. The child and the parent. The child sees the parent as the source of his being, rather than his actual being. This is the union that we're learning now. Emunah, we say, is bekulam b'shalom. Emunah is the implant of the parent in the child. The actual presence of the parent in the child. That is emunah.
What do you mean by implant?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by implant exactly?
The implant means a piece of him, a piece of the heart. That's like we said, the parent and the child. The child is a piece of the parent.
Okay.
So therefore, the connection, the emunah that Eden had in the Holocaust is higher than the need for the ear. It is not something that it can be observed. It is the actual presence of the Holocaust in the ear. This is where we say that Yid and God is one thing. Kuchebrihu, Hashem, and Torah, and Yisrael, Kul Achad, is all one thing. Then we mean Chad literally, in a literal sense. And this is why we say the Ahava, or the Emunah, is Bekulam B'Shod, because the Emunah is the divine presence in every Yid. And therefore it's equal by the simple Yid, even a Rosh Hashanah, and a Tzaddik. We remember clearly how upset the Rebbe used to get when some would disregard the covet of the Jew, would speak ill about a Yid. The Rebbe used to get upset in a very profound way. He spoke about it publicly. It's not the Rebbe's way to criticize anybody publicly. And this is criticism of somebody who's of a stature. And the Rebbe went straight out. Because Yisrael and Kuchibri is one thing. So if you're insulting a Yid, you're insulting the neighbors. And this is the meaning of the words of Emunah is nimshach from a high madrig. What's meant high madrig? It's a madrig that is not known to us by observation. It is a madrig that we are part and parcel of. It is not something that is translated Chochmah Bina B'das. It is the very reality itself. This is why it's Sikul Ba'al. And I said the most for that is a child and a parent. The child is a part of the parent. Emunah is a part of Elokus. It is not an intellectual experience, orientation, cognizance. Let's continue inside now. The line begins, Arete Bekulam B'Shov, 6 lines from the top, Kuf Nun Vov. Because that comes from a high madrega. That's why it's Sikul Ba'al. If it comes from high madrega, how does that explain that it's Sikul Ba'al? The explanation, the answer is, it comes from a high madrega where there are no contents. Content is the essence itself. There are no madrigas, there are not different places, pieces. Everything comes from the same thing, from the same source. This is why we say Comes from high madrige, and that's why it's ikobayo. Because on a high madrige, there is only one truth.
Is Amuna the actual person, or is it an ability of the person?
Say again,
Is Amuna the actual person, or is it an ability of the person?
is the actual person. It translates by us in a form of function. But this is not, the reason we translate it in form of function is that we look with fresh eyes. We see we can say this. To us, a human being is a human being. We don't know what's going on inside, what makes him live. I don't have, okay. But really, it is in fact the same thing. This is why I pointed out. It was amazing. Sometimes it was almost shocking. The upset state that the Rebbe used to demonstrate when someone spoke ill about a Yid. These witnesses all are by Fabrengens. Okay. So when it says over here, how is that explained that therefore it's ikobayo? It is nimshach from a high madrige, which is not subdivisible in madriges. That's why it's ikobayo. There's still more to speak about this. Probably have a chance to do that later. Okay, let's zoom inside. And from this reality, from this presence of the Amunah, the divine presence in every Yid, from this, who koyach kiddush Hashem. This is the koyach. I'll come back to the word koyach. Koyach kiddush Hashem, this is where the koyach kiddush Hashem comes from. Sheyesh b'Yisrael, that is present by Yid. The word koyach, kiddush Hashem, in a certain sense, is a misnomer. Koyach means an ability. Usually the word koyach is an ability that you're able to do something while you remain outside of that action. The koyach to speak, for example. You can speak, you speak, and you are a separate entity. Speech comes from you. That's what the word koyach usually denotes. But koyach, kiddush Hashem, actually alludes to a completely different phenomenon of koyach. Again, I'll deviate slightly and go to emotion. A parent and a child. The child inevitably speaks of his parent. In other words, the presence of the child tells you that there is a parent. The child, by being there, represents the parent. The child actually represents the koyach of the parent. The presentation that a child has effects of presenting the parent is not because the child points to the parent, talks about the parent. The child and the parent is one and the same thing. It's not a qualitative aspect. It's the reality itself. This is the pshat. That Emunah is one thing but the Likus itself. The presence of Emunah by Yidden is the presence of the Likus in the Yid. It is not an intellectual concept. What makes a Yid real as a real presence? It's the Likus that's in him. This is why we say Emunah is Bekulam B'Shavah. A person has several children. That they are his children, there is not a single distinction, single difference.
I'm sorry, Bekulam B'Shadam?
B'Shava, equal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
An interesting psukim. Yaakov Avinu was instructing his children before his passing. The pasuk says like this: Yaakov Avinu called his children. Vayikra Yaakov Abono. I'm quoting, I think it's correct. Yaakov called his sons, and he said, the corpse of Yaakov gathered together Yaakov's children, V'shimo al Yisrael avich, and listen to Israel, your father. What is this repetition? Gather Bnei Yaakov, V'shimo al Yisrael avich, and listen to what your father is going to say. The emphasis over there is, but I am going to say to you now, I'm going to tell you your own reality, your own truth. And I'm not going to tell it to you because I know you, but because you are sourced in me. I know you from the inception. It is Israel, your father, speaking to you. Huh? Mute, yeah. Is there interference on the line?
No.
Okay.
Everything's okay.
This is the principle of Emunah. Emunah is a divine presence in the Jewish soul itself. A presence, not an impact, an influence. And this is the meaning that comes from Madrego Eliyenu Yesir. Comes from high Madrego, means it comes from the essence of the Lakush itself. Not from the Geluyim, effects of the Lakush, but the Lakush itself. And now they're saying, go inside a little further. The line begins on B'chulam B'shoba, and this is 6 lines from the top, Al Kufnun Bo. At the end of the line, Umizeh, and thus from this source, namely the Eloki source that's in the Neshama, who Koyach Kiddush Hashem. This is the Koyach, this is where the Koyach Kiddush Hashem, the Koyach for Kiddush Hashem, Sheyesh B'Yisrael, that is present by you. And I promise I'll explain the word Koyach. Koyach normally means an ability. An ability is distinct from the one who is able to do it. But when it comes to Koyach, Kiddush Hashem, Koyach Kiddush Hashem means, Rahman Hassan, if you're challenged to give your life up. Giving up the life Kiddush Hashem is not a koyach. One cannot do this consciously, reflecting what he's doing and then do it. This is not a koyach, a function, an ability. How then do we refer to it as koyach Kiddush Hashem? The koyach Kiddush Hashem should be Yisrael that is present by you. So I said the word koyach over here is sort of a misnomer. Because this is not a koyach in the sense that he can do something and remain separate from what you do, like a koyach. Notice the Rebbe says, koyach Kiddush Hashem. You would think that the more challenging aspect over here is not Kiddush Hashem, but Mesiras Nefesh. And yet the Rebbe says, no, koyach Kiddush Hashem, not koyach Mesiras Nefesh.
Call from wireless caller.
Asha. What? It's probably him, yeah. Okay, we'll give it. You would think that Mesiras Nefesh is the big challenge. And the Rebbe says, no. Mizeh koyach Kiddush Hashem. Sheyesh b'Yisrael. This is why this is called koyach. Because if you talk about Mesiras Nefesh, you are not a participant in it. You just allow it to happen. Kiddush Hashem you're actually a participant. You're actually effectuating Kiddush Hashem, which is called Koyach Kiddush Hashem. When a Yid goes to Mesiras Nefesh, he's not just giving up his life, Rachmana litzlan, but he makes an overt statement, a powerful statement. He insists on it because he wants to be Mekadosh and Shemayim. He wants to declare to the whole world the meaning from Kiddush Shemayim. This is a koyach. The koyach of Kiddush Hashem is not merely the giving up of one's life, Rahman al-Islam. Rather, it is a positive stance, a statement that Yidden make throughout their lives, throughout their existence, with their very being in the world. That Shem Shammai, the divine presence, is what really matters to them. What they're really interested in. The reason they eat breakfast is because they don't want to lose Shem Shammai. The reason they get involved in any worthy pursuit is because they don't want to lose Shem Shammai. They want to reestablish Shem Shammai. This is the koyach Kiddush Hashem. Making an overt public statement that this world is a divine creation. And the creation does not mean it was created. It's a divine presence. It represents a divine reality. This is the koyach in every Yid. This, in fact, is a koyach. Intellectually, we may not be aware of it. But this is the essence of the Jewish neshama. Kiddush Hashem, as I said, to pronounce to the whole world, in the world, to reveal in the world. The Shem Shammai, what is the reality of the world? The reality of the world is the heavenly, the divine presence. That is the reality of the world. And this is what a Yid, by definition, stands for. This is what the word Yid means. This is what's called koyach Kiddush Hashem. Normally, Kiddush Hashem means one son giving up on himself. This is not giving up. It is making a statement of Kiddush Hashem. That is inherent in the neshama itself. The neshama of a Yid, and as a result, the consciousness of a Yid is being a Jew is what he lives for. This is what makes life meaningful to him, significant. And this emphasis of mizeh, it is sourced in this emunah. What is this emunah? This is the koyach eloki, that's in the kulam b'shalom. It's all by Yid, all equally by Yid.
I think,
Go ahead.
Rabbi,
Go ahead.
thank you. One of the main mashalim we had for the kulam b'shavin was father and child, father and son, right? So
Yeah.
I think I'm understanding it. On the other hand, in Torah, there's a lot of issues with the favored son and these kind of qualities, and some of them are birurim, some of them are. So would it be correct to think that all
The what? I'm sorry.
all of that has to do with the level of qualities and who is fulfilling the mission or who is living up to a certain vision, but that their children is all
I hear you, Yona.
No, the transmission is broken. The transmission is breaking up.
We couldn't hear you, Yona.
Oh. Okay, I was just asking if this issue with the children, on the one hand, it has to do with qualities, on the other hand, seems to have to do with essence, and we're talking about the essence. Would that be a good understanding?
That's correct. Absolutely correct. And on the essence, they're all equal. This may say they're all equal in Amunah. Amunah is an essence, not a function.